I used to not only be a believer, but also an advocate, an endorser of therapy. But, as of recent, I've been second guessing this thing, guys. I'll be honest with you guys. It's not that I do not believe that there is a space for therapy, but what much of therapy has become is nothing more than enabling that you essentially pay for. Like I used to do coaching not too long ago, one-on-one coaching over the phone, etc. And many of my clients came to me because they were tired of their therapists. They were tired of regurgitating and perpetuating the very same thing without actually finding a solution. And for me, based upon my content, that's all I've ever been about. It's been how do I get from point A to point B, right? Not let's circle the block 13 more times around the very same story. Like, I understand the power of expressing, of bringing awareness to certain things, and I'll always be a proponent of that. Doing the shadow work, right? Bringing those things to surface that we've been suppressing or that have been repressed. But when we are at that point, I believe that the point is to get us past that. And, my homegirl, Carrie Nicole, shout out to Carrie Nicole. Make sure to check out her channel. She's got fire content. She said something that was so powerful. She said that her job as a coach is, and she said she actually got this funny enough from her own therapist who's like one in a million, who said, my job is to make sure you never need me again. Right? And I thought that was such a bar. My job is to make sure that you never need. It's kind of like a parent. A good parent's job is to make sure that you do not rely on them for the rest of your life. If you're relying on them for the rest of your life, then it's damn near a failed experiment. And it's the same thing when it comes to this idea of therapy where so many people are being enabled into weakness. It is keeping people in a perpetual cycle of the very same thing they're looking to escape. And unfortunately, I've experienced this in a multitude of ways that some, may not be able to, may not relate to, but can resonate with, right? Where as a young black man, I've been told time and time again that the reason why I have any problems in my life, the reason why, I didn't succeed in certain things or, the reason why I haven't attained certain things is because there's a system out there, this system of oppression that's working against me. And for a while, I bought into it because it was easier to do so. It was easier to buy into a narrative that I was a victim and things were happening to me, as opposed to the reality, which was that I was the first cause of my own results in life. And so, back to this thing of therapy, again, not all therapy is created equal. I understand that. But after just doing my own due diligence, as well as having my own personal anecdotal experience of having different people coming to me, telling me the exact same thing, literally the exact same thing of, I was at a therapist for 8 years. One time I was at a therapist for a few years or even a few sessions, and I realized this isn't what I was actually looking for. Right. And I've stepped out of that one-on-one coaching. Again, I just realized that the way that I was doing it, it was taxing, it was draining. Yes, it was good money, but when it's all said and done, it was on my energy levels. It was something else. Maybe I might sometime in the future, if it's something that aligns, if it's people who actually want the result as opposed to continue to perpetuating the very same problems. But, this is something that I realize is more prevalent than I think most people are willing to talk about. And I'm not saying that this is a malicious thing, right? Like, I don't believe every company who wants you to buy things perpetually, they have a malicious intention. Like, I don't know if Colgate has a malicious intention that you rely on toothpaste forever. But I do know that if people no longer needed to brush their teeth because all of a sudden, our breath was perfect forever and our teeth were forever preserved, I do know without a shadow of a doubt, that they will be scrambling. I do know that. And so sometimes I do think to myself, well, is it because it's kind of built into the model where, most therapists would rather have somebody just perpetually being in the very same stuckness? May that be a possibility? Because my experiences with just day-to-day life, I've noticed that those who believe they're being the most helpful, those who seem to quote unquote go out of their way to quote unquote help me in my journey in some sort of way, oftentimes lead me down the very opposite or would have the potential to do so if I actually listen to everybody. Right? The advice that I often get as a young black man is that, it's this system of oppression, it's against you. Everybody's against you. The police are hunting you down. The white man essentially will never accept you, whatever that means. And so you're going to have to work 2 or 3 times as hard if you take on any endeavor. And ironically enough, in this day and age, it's actually relatively easier for somebody who looks like me. That's just straight up. Maybe it's just in the Bay Area where I grew up, but in the Bay Area, you damn near had a free pass when it came to most things. And so, the conversation I really want to get into is this thing of just the enabling of the victimhood and how it's leaked into every single part of our society, even into the places that are supposed to help to empower you. The purpose of a counselor, the purpose of a therapist was supposed to be to get you to introspect, to understand what's going on, but also to get you a sense of personal agency when you know that you have control over the certain aspects of your life, not to get you deeper and deeper and deeper into this belief system that, you can't do, and that you continue to blame these external factors. Yes, there's a period of time when you have to, investigate what happened in my childhood, what were the impacts of the parental systems or the family systems and family structures, what was my environment like, how did it add or take away from my nurturing. Yes, that is vital. But then there has to be a point beyond that. We have to step past that at some point to say, okay, we now know the story. Now, how do we move forward? How do we empower ourselves? We have nurtured one of the weakest generations. And I'm not talking about Gen Z. I'm talking about overall. At an average, I believe we are weaker as people. And this is shown through science, through physiology or biology. Like, you can see the human structure, the human body has gotten weaker. You can point to foods, you can point to a multitude of different things. But, at the core of it is our psychology. We become so comfortable in our victimhood. We become so comfortable in our environments. We don't test ourselves. We don't try. We don't step out of the bounds. We stay in the known. And a lot of these different, quote unquote systems that we've built for ourselves keep us in that known. It keeps us in the regulated. It keeps us in our comfort zones. And I know there are powerful, powerful teachers out there, coaches, and even therapists, psychotherapists, etc., who have a genuine desire to change, a genuine desire to speak to true issues. But unfortunately, that may not be what's promoted. And you may not even be able to do so, I don't know, legally or whatever it may be, due to, whatever criteria you had to fulfill in order to get the job that you have. But it's truly unfortunate because the message that we need is one of, yes, you can. Not on Obama. I don't know, Obama, he done butchered that damn phrase, right? It went from yes, you can to y'all, except for you. You cannot. You don't need the government to do it for you. We can. We are able. We are more than able. We are more than capable. It is within us to take control of those aspects of our lives that we have been told, poor you will never be successful because it's so hard. There's glass ceilings, racism, sexism, and all these other things. So I just want to send this out just as a reminder to say, these messages that are being perpetuated, if it's not a message of personal agency, of personal change, of personal transformation, it's not worth the salt. Even if it's a message that came from me in the past, because I done been as guilty of this as anybody else, to continue to just egg on the message of not necessarily perpetuating victimhood, but I've been egging on a message of, well, you don't need to change. You don't need to do anything different. Just stay the exact same. And that's not reality. That's not the truth. In order to get a different result, we do have to change. Something has to change. It doesn't mean that we're not worthy. We don't have intrinsic worth. It just means that we have to move different. As simple as that. So, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to get yourself a copy of a book that I wrote called Escaping Victimhood. It's nothing but bars. Trust me.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking.